What do you teach? Like, how do you coach people? Like, when someone enters your mastermind, let's say if I'm a potential candidate, hypothetically, if I have a fitness business, how do you teach me?
Our expertise is helping fitness coaches sell their services for a premium. When I first started, my products were all like $47 to $77. But what we teach our students how to do is how to sell their 12-week program or 6-month program for anywhere from $1,000 to $6,000. We don't tell people things are right or wrong. We don't just give trainings. We educate.
What are your best tips to build a personal brand?
The definition of a brand is a promise repeated over and over and over. So what's the brand promise of my coaching program? It's to help you scale your business without losing your soul. And what I mean by losing your soul, you don't lose what's most important to you. Your faith, your fitness, your family. You can make a lot of money and you don't have to lose yourself in the process. A personal brand is going to come down to who you are. It's what your beliefs are. So for me, I've got some very simple convictions, and I do my best to demonstrate those through my work, through my life, and through my students' work and through my students' results. That's how I see a brand in the context of what I do.
As a serial entrepreneur, I'm always trying to evolve. Having great conversations with other high performers is one of the best ways to grow, not only in business, but also in spirit, health, and relationships. This is Svencast. Listen, grow, repeat.
Why did you switch from being in the fitness area as an author, as a fitness model, etc., also as a fitness coach, made the transition to help people with their businesses?
Yeah, a number of things. So I started my online fitness business in 2006, and I transitioned to being a full-time fitness business coach. It would have been we're coming up to this summer, it'll be 4 years. So it's been a little over 3.5 years. It comes back to capacity. You know, I had 2 kids at the time. I had my muscle building business. I had a supplement preload. I had a clothing company. It's like full-time jobs.
Yeah.
So like, who do you know that's actually successful at 4 full-time jobs? Now, a lot of people would say, you know, entrepreneurs, you know, well, didn't you have a team for all those different businesses? I didn't. I was at a stage where I was running marketing, I was running operations, I was wearing too many hats for each of those businesses, and I didn't have the infrastructure. So I had to decide what was most important. That's my definition of winning, by the way. What's important now? WIN. What's important now? And what was most important then was growing my coaching program, my mastermind. And I'd already done fitness videos for probably 12, 13 years, 2006 all the way to 16. Yeah, it would have been well over a decade that I've produced more than 10 years of YouTube videos, hundreds of articles, dozens and dozens of programs. You know, I built 4 different 7-figure online fitness businesses. So I was ready for a transition. And I also had a lot of people coming to me saying, hey, do you teach what you do? And I was doing these little 2-day seminars. And it was funny because I was marketing them to my fitness audience. And I'd have anywhere from 10 to 40 people show up. I charged $2,000 a head. And I did about 4 per year. And I'd sell out every single time, whatever venue I went to. And I was, you know, helping people start their online fitness businesses, but I wasn't selling them what I was an actual product of, which was ongoing coaching and ongoing mastermind. So it's like, hey guys, come on out to my 2-day event. And then after that, hey, good luck everybody. I'll put you all in a Facebook group. And a couple guys actually got some major results, 2 of my top students. But for the most part, you don't hear from people again because they don't have the ongoing accountability, the support, the environment. So one of my first mentors, Bedros Keuilian, called me out. And he said, you know, he was getting ready to launch his $50,000 coaching program, Empire. And he said to me, Vince, why don't you have your own mastermind? And I said, that's a good question. Like, it's a lot of responsibility. That's a lot of money. I've never sold that price point before. And, you know, what about all my other stuff? And I had some fear. I had some doubt. Like, do I have what it takes? And he said, sometimes you need to borrow somebody else's belief. I'm a huge believer, and my success is really because of people having more belief in me than I had belief in myself. And he believed in me, Bedros Keuilian, said, you're one of the OGs of online fitness marketing. If anyone has a fitness coaching program, it should be you. And I said, well, will you show me how to run one? Because Bedros was the only guy at the time who had a mastermind for fitness pros with over 100 members. And I just thought, 100 people at a 5-figure price point? That's insane. And before you know it, within 1 year, I had over 100 members in my coaching program. And then, almost 3 years later, we're over 250 active members. And that's all I do right now. I'm 100% dedicated to online fitness coaches, and I put all my other stuff on hold while we grow this organization. And for now, I'm more than fulfilled and focused on this one venture.
I see. That's very interesting. So, of course, obviously, you have been a very successful online fitness coach yourself. So you can tell from firsthand experience what it takes exactly to become successful as a fitness business person, so to speak. Yeah. What do you think? What do you teach? Like, how do you coach people? Like, when someone enters your mastermind, how, let's say if I'm a potential candidate, hypothetically, if I have a fitness business, how do you teach me? How does it work?
Yeah. So our expertise is helping fitness coaches sell their services for a premium. So when I first started, my products were all like $47 to $77. But what we teach our students how to do is how to sell their 12-week program or 6-month program for anywhere from $1,000 to $6,000. And we use something called the A4 treatment, which stands for attention, affirmation, accountability, and access. So when you're joining a high-ticket coaching program, when you're paying more money, you get those 4 things that you don't get when you just buy an ebook. And we teach them how to communicate their value so that they can charge those higher price points. So, you don't need many clients to be earning $10,000 to $20,000 a month with a very profit-rich business. So one of the very first things that we do with our students is we help them figure out mom, because you can't have a family without mom, and you can't have a business without mom. And mom stands for messaging. Sorry, let me go back. Stands for marketplace, offer, messaging, and then method of attracting clients. MOMM. And that's the foundation of every big business, in any niche. So who are we talking to? What is the offer? What is your messaging in terms of how are you different? How are you better? Because that's what the online fitness coaches don't have. They call themselves online fitness coaches, which is basically like calling yourself a personal trainer. So why in the world would I hire you when there's thousands of personal trainers out there? So we teach them how to position themselves differently based on an expertise. So instead of calling yourself online fitness coach, you could call yourself muscle building expert, or, stubborn belly fat coach. So it's like, oh, I've got stubborn belly fat. So little things like that, you'd be shocked how much of a difference that is. And then we figure out how do they attract clients, whether they're using Instagram or Facebook. And we have something that's called the C4 method for exploding your business. And the C4 method breaks down the 4 pillars of selling high ticket, which is great content, productive conversations, simple sales system, and cash collected. So when you look at a business just from those 4 lenses, content, conversations, calls, cash collected, we can start to create systems around all of those pillars in the business. And that's what we specifically coach our students on. And then obviously as the business gets bigger, they need support around building a team, better systems, more structure, more automations, more team members, and more visibility on their brand, more followers. So we help students go all the way from having launched a business all the way up to over 7 figures. We have a few students who are doing, over $200,000 a month just selling online fitness coaching. So it's pretty cool. I've stayed true to the market. Like, I don't coach business coaches. I coach online fitness coaches. Maybe I'll do that down the road, but I have goals first to serve the fitness market before I venture out.
Yeah, maybe those same principles would apply also to other types of coaches and online business people.
They will 100% work for all niches. But what I'm starting to see now is that a lot of these new online fitness business coaches, they come in for the quick money. Because they're fitness coaches, they have a good month, 2 months, and they're like, oh man, I could be charging a lot more teaching some of these tactics that I have. But because they're not rooted in serving people, they're rooted in making quick money, and they see an opportunity, they don't last. Like, I can't count how many fitness business coaches I've seen over the last 2-3 years that come in and out of the market within 1 to 2 years tops. And then eventually they hear about us and they come into our world when they should have come to us in the first place, but that's fine.
I see. How do you like there is like especially in the online business world, there's this concept of launches versus evergreen. And I think at least in Europe, it used to be like, okay, first everyone was doing launches and then all of the lists were burned out. And then a lot of people went out of business because it wasn't sustainable anymore. So, what do you teach in this regard? Do you think launches are better, or like evergreens, or a mixture, or what do you teach?
A mixture, 100. Yeah, to answer the question in one word, a mixture for sure. So I'm a product of the launch model. In fact, I had some of my biggest paydays and banked the most money from being very good at launching. And learning how to launch your product it's a great tool. All right. It's, you could consider it a sledgehammer, but sometimes you don't need a sledgehammer. Sometimes you just need a fly swatter. So you have to know that these are just tools in your toolbox, and no one tool makes the entire toolbox. So do we teach launches? 100%. There's nothing wrong with doing a launch. You just have to, like you said, you have to understand that it's a sledgehammer. You can't use a sledgehammer all the time. There's going to be no more walls to knock down. So we need techniques that produce sales consistently. We need systems in place that are generating leads in between the launches. And I wouldn't say they're just different business models. And I want to be very clear. There's not a right or wrong way. Like, you look at John Berardi and Precision Nutrition, at this $200 million nutrition company, for, I believe, the first few years, all they did was open twice a year. You look at Stu McLaren of Tribe, I believe he opens once or twice per year. And, I believe it's $5-6 million probably plus dollar business, the last I heard, because that's their business model. So, and that's kind of one of the neat things people get when they come into my world. We don't tell people things are right or wrong. We don't just give trainings, we educate. And that's what makes great marketers, because we want you to understand, hey, we can definitely do a launch, but here's the pros, here's the cons. Maybe we do this once or twice a year, but then we need systems in place the rest of the year that produces evergreen sales. So I find the best students are the most educated students, and they understand the ins and outs of all these different tools. And then we help them strategize based on, are we going to do this, or are we going to just wait till your following's way bigger? And if you see, when I did launches, one of my biggest launches was Maximize Your Muscle, but I didn't do that launch until I had thousands and thousands of people for No Nonsense Muscle Building. I launched that program 3 years after my original program. Maximize Your Muscle went on to have more than 5,000 people paying $70 a month. Now, I would have never got 5,000 people at $70 a month if I hadn't spent 3 years building up a customer list. So when you hear strategies, you have to understand, why do they work? why did that launch work so successfully for that person? Why did it flop for me? So you need the big picture, or else you don't know what you're looking at.
I see. So, how do you approach this topic of personal branding? I mean, this is like one of the, I feel like nowadays with the social media platforms, it's very important to build your, like next to your business brand, to build your personal brand as well. And so it's also like, especially with fitness coaches, it's part of your positioning. And what are your best tips to build a personal brand?
Yeah. So
and how should you allocate your energy?
Yeah. So for me, the definition of a brand is a promise repeated over and over and over. Mm-hmm. So what's the brand promise of my coaching program? It's to help you scale without losing your soul. That's it. It's to help you scale your business without losing your soul. And what I mean by losing your soul is that you don't lose what's most important to you, your faith, your fitness, your family, that you can make a lot of money and you don't have to lose yourself in the process. That's my brand promise. So why do I share so much family content? Because that's reinforcing the brand, right? Why do I share my ventures, my trips and all that? Because it's reinforcing that you can have a great life, you can travel with your family, and you can work, reasonable hours, and you don't have to work weekends. So yeah. I want to show people that's possible. I want to stay in great shape. I want to show people that, hey, I share my faith on my platform, and it doesn't seem to be hurting me. And I want to demonstrate that. So a personal brand is going to come down to who you are. It's what your beliefs are. So for me, I've got some very simple convictions, and I do my best to demonstrate those through my work, through my life, and through my students' work and through my students' results. So that's how I see a brand in the context of what I do.
I see. Yeah, it's I've learned from smart people that, like, when you, for example, doing personal branding on social media platforms, it's way easier to document versus to produce. And that means if you just share like pieces of your everyday life, and it's not a big effort for you to show it and to showcase it, versus producing something that shows something that you're actually not. So it's also very efficient.
In the following episode of Svencast.
What do you think, like, from your coaching experience, what is holding most people back from success?
They quit too soon. They hit their first roadblock and they give up. Coach doesn't quit on them, they quit on the coach. The model doesn't stop working for them, they stop working the model. It's like, what's the best diet? It's the one that you stick with. What's the best workout program? The one that you follow. What's the best blender? The one that you use. The biggest problem we see is that people's expectations are too big in the short term and they're too small in the long term.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and never miss an episode of Svencast again.